So, Game of the Year!
Yay!
Woo!
1995.
Yeah. Me and Joe
Fun.
gonna, in a series of videos, look through the history of gaming and pick our favourite game released in each year from 1995, as we have deemed that as the meaningful beginning of our lives.
The arbitrary meaningful beginning.
Yes. And the first year, or at least I could find a decent amount of games I recognised. Yeah. So shall we start off with some of my honourable mentions?
Yes.
Because I think normally we'd start off with honourable mentions, but you don't have any.
No.
So
Well, I do, but I also... They're
also both of your nominations for Game of the Year.
That's also my shortlist. So,
yeah. So my first...
Emphasis on short.
My first honourable mention is Star Wars Dark Forces, which I've been playing quite a bit of this year.
Is that the...
It's
Doom?
It's Doom but Star Wars, which is pretty much everything you need to know, and that's why it's good.
Who do you play as then? Because I'm not actually
play as Kyle Katarn,
Okay.
who is an extended universe character who no longer exists
Oh, good.
because they've destroyed the extended universe. He's essentially like a bounty hunter, I think.
Okay, like
Paid an awful lot of attention to the story because it's all in blocks of text rather than cutscenes.
95!
Yeah, there are a few problems with it, like it is a bit symptomatic of 1995 kind of first person shooter level design where it's just like, here's a level, go.
Yeah.
Like, it's a pain in the ass to find the map, like actually reading the map is a pain in the ass as well. It's
I
really...
found that with Doom even.
Yeah.
Like you can get lost so many times on Doom and just...
It's not really obvious where you have to go.
Yeah.
Like, there's a system of lives. You can't just hide in a corner and your health comes back. These are also kind of good points. I do like difficult games, and it is a difficult game. But yeah, there are definite problems with it. But it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's Star Wars and it's Doom.
Star Doom.
So, yeah.
You can't go wrong with that, really, can you?
No. Next honourable mention, Lemmings 3D. I don't have an awful lot to say about this.
I've never played it again. I've heard of it, and I've seen like screen caps, things like that, but I've not actually...
I think it was the first Lemmings game I ever played, so it's kind of got like a special place. And yeah, I think I had a demo disc of it, but I'm not sure if it was a demo or not. If it was a demo, it was a very generous demo. It's Lemmings, it's guiding silly blue blobs to an end goal, and it's in 3D, so you've got that extra element of puzzle.
Next on your list?
Next on my list is Mechwarrior 2.
Which is?
My favourite first-person shooter of all time.
Wow. Are you any good at it?
I don't know, it's probably not. I'm looking back at rose-tinted nostalgia goggles.
Yeah. Steampunk rose-tinted nostalgia goggles.
Basically, Mechwarrior 2 is a first-person shooter where you're in a big old mech and you go around shooting other big old mechs.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure if it was Mechwarrior 2, which is Mechwarrior I had, but I recognised the box art on the Wikipedia page, so I think it's that one.
The way to go.
So, it's a dubious honourable mention because I'm not sure if it's actually the one I'm thinking about, but yeah, it was pretty cool. You got like a hangar and you could kind of choose your mech, and I think there was customising it to an extent.
That does sound good, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I used to just pretend that it was real and stuff because I was like 5 when I played it, so it would be like, oh my god, we gotta get the mech, go and score, and all that. Next one, Radix.
Radix.
Basically, it's Descent, but not Descent.
That's
it's sort of like a first person. It's basically Doom, but instead of walking, you're flying, and you can go fly around and stuff.
So a less limited Doom in terms of mobility.
It looks like Doom, but instead of walking around, you fly around.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I remember it as anyway. I have been meaning to
completely different to
try
what you remember.
Try that on DOSBox actually, but and finally on my honourable mentions, XCOM: Terror from the Deep, which I've played half an hour of, and in that half an hour I lost 2 crews of people.
Wow.
So
See, the problem with that is You could say that the game is challenging, or you could just say that you're really, really shit at it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's turn-based strategy, it's name your characters, and it's permadeath. So it's kind of like, they're like, that's three things that I really, really like in a game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, I have to mention it because, like,
Yeah.
and it's not, like, I wouldn't say it was the best game of that year, and I haven't played enough of it to really speak authoritatively about it, but the Xcom games, very good, especially Enemy Unknown. Shall we move on to the shortlist?
Shortlist, yes.
Right, shall we start off with the only one that's not on both lists? This is Warcraft 2.
Issue.
Yeah, this is Warcraft 2. It's such a good game. I'm not sure if I played this or Age of Empires first.
Okay.
And I suppose it would have been Warcraft 1 I played first, but the Warcraft series, I'm going to be really hipstery here and say before it was just World of Warcraft, and when it was actually an RTS, it was a really good RTS, and it was kind of, you didn't have to deal with resources quite so much. You had like gold and lumber basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I think you had farms, which sort of were more like houses in Age of Empires than collecting food, and basically you just set people to go get gold and get wood,
and then you just
kind of left it, and there were dragons and elves and things like that.
So it's like fantasy Age of Empires.
Fantasy Age of Empires,
with less
yeah.
concentration on resources.
Yeah.
Oh, that does sound good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I haven't been able to get it working on a modern PC, which is sad.
Ah, modern PCs.
Yeah, so the actual possible contenders now. So
we've got
Worms or Rayman. It's a tough one. It is a tough one.
It is, and they're both on my shortlist. Mainly because they're the only ones that I've played.
Games you recognise.
Yeah. Well, I recognised some of them, but I'd never played them. I've spent a lot of time, or I did spend a lot of time, on both of these games.
Yeah.
Like, both kind of very obsessively. Just for different reasons.
Yeah, they are. They're not similar games, are they?
No. So it's going to be hard to choose.
Yeah. Is a tough one. Have you played, which have you played either of them in the last 2 years, though?
Yes, I've got Worms on, original Worms on Steam, but I've not played Rayman. Is that on Steam?
I've not, no it's not. I think it's only on PlayStation at this point. There probably is a PC version, and I've got Rayman Gold at home, but it's not, it's, modern PCs.
Yeah.
It's in the awkward stage of, it won't run on DOSBox, and it won't run on like a modern operating system. Worms. It's multiplayer.
It is.
It's one of the multiplayer classics.
It really is, and I think that is why they're so different. Like you wouldn't play Worms on. Well, you would play Worms on your own, like I have done recently. But it's something that you want to play with other people. Yeah. As opposed to Rayman, which is like it is single player. Yeah. It's just that's what it's best at.
Yeah, but Rayman, it's a classic.
It is
really. Like I would say, but because I'm not quite the massive Nintendo fanboy that some people are, that Rayman is better than Mario by a considerable margin. It's a controversial statement, but I'm sticking with it. I think Rayman is it's a very solid game, and it's quite kind of friendly and welcoming. It looks great. It looks great today. Like, it's not high definition, but it doesn't look crap.
Yeah, and I think part of that is just the kind of wackiness of it. Yeah. Like with Mario, like it's a guy and he's in a world. I mean, there's big pipes and plants that eat and things like that. But Rayman, it's like, why has he got no arms? And like, how does?
There's a very good reason for having no arms, actually.
Yeah, and like. Even like the actual worlds in Rayman are just weird as well. Whereas Mario, it's more buttoned down, I think.
Yeah, like Rayman's kind of a bit more fantastical.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I think. Plus the whole helicopter hair thing—that's like the coolest thing ever.
Man, if I could do that.
Like that, one of the later levels, you get like a potion which lets you like use that to like properly fly rather than just hover.
Yes,
like,
I remember
it's so good. And also Rayman, another one of these really difficult games as well. Like the first couple of levels, they're reasonably easy to play, but like later on it's brutal.
Yeah, I distinctly remember a lot of points where I died a lot of times, but I kept going back. Like I find that in a lot of games they can be, you can die a lot and it just gets irritating. But I don't know, it's just well balanced in that you want to go back and try it again and again. So, what is?
Should we try to make a decision?
Yeah.
Is that what we're going for? Right. Oh, it's difficult.
It is difficult. I think it's difficult because they're so different. Like
they are very different.
Like they're just.
If you put a gun to my head and said you can only ever play Worms or Rayman,
I think I know what you're gonna say.
For the rest of your life, I would say Worms.
Really? I would have said. I thought you were gonna say Rayman.
Even with like the sequels to Worms.
Yeah.
I would still say original Worms. Because I still play that, even though there's like Worms Revolution and Worms 3D and all that. I still think the original is just, it's one of the classics, and
yeah, that's true, and that like it's just got unlimited replayability, especially like with the multiplayer aspect as well. Like you're never really gonna get bored of it unless you like play it loads and loads and loads. But whereas Rayman, like you've got your set levels, and once you've done them, like it's like rewatching a TV show almost.
Yeah, and also with Rayman, like I've played it a lot, and I've never actually sort of stuck with it enough to play to the end.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, I know Worms you can't really compare Worms with that because it doesn't really have an end, but you can keep going back to it and.
Yeah, I think.
But I do love Rayman. Don't get me wrong.
It's an incredibly close second.
Yeah. The boss fight.
I think
I will say Worms, but I will send off Rayman with a note on that the boss battles in Rayman are thoroughly inspirational bits of game design, and they're just phenomenal. Like the boss battles, just pure genius.
I don't remember a lot of the boss battles, I have to say.
I don't remember a lot of them, but I like details. But it's one of those really good kind of boss battle things of it doesn't show you where you need to attack. It doesn't show you what you have to do. You have to kind of. It is a very much kind of learn the pattern and then try and exploit that to attack them, rather than there's a big glowing red bit on him. I think I'll aim for that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I think. It does drive me mad when games do that, and it's like, I do miss decent boss battles, like where you have this huge thing come at you, like, holy moly, how do I defeat that? And then you have to like just spend days working it out, because it doesn't point at it, like you said, there's no big red glowy bit. You just try.
Right. So
I think it's
going to be. Are we saying Rayman is a very, very
incredibly close second? Yeah. But
and we love both games.
Yeah, but Worms
for its continued use.
Yeah.
I mean, the sequels don't really change that much.
They do. They're all essentially different spins on the same thing, but they still work, I think. I mean, I've not played all of them, I have to say, but the ones I have played, they just work. Yeah. Worms is Game of the Year, 1995. Well done, Team 17.
Best Game of the Year. Subscribe.
In the links in the like us.
My first honour went.